friends, this is Heidi with Kiddoskoral, and today I am going to do a very requested video. However, I just want to point out that this recipe is really not mine. It actually comes from the Kneady Homesteader, but you guys know that I love to make my family homemade bread, and you guys have been wanting to see me make the bread, and so I am going to share the recipe with you, but I'm also going to link the Kneady Homesteader's video as well down below so that you guys can see her make it as well. It's how I learned how to make it. And the recipe is very straightforward. It's very common ingredients, and I found that it was very simple to follow. And she teaches a lot of really good things that I didn't even know about making bread, because she has been obviously making bread for a really long time. So I'm going to show you guys how I make this bread. Okay, so the first thing you need is 1.5 cups of warm water, and I just pour mine into my KitchenAid. Now the secret to the warm water is that you do not want it over 115 degrees, or it will kill the yeast and it will not do what it's supposed to do. So what I do is I add sugar to my water. And sugar helps yeast activate. So I've got to get my yeast. I'm going to put my yeast in. And I like to give the yeast about 5 minutes to kind of do its thing and activate, and it seems like my bread comes out better, so I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, we're back. Hopefully you guys can see okay inside the bowl. What we're going to do is I'm going to add the rest of my sugar that is called for. And then I'm going to add my salt. And then I'm going to add my butter. Let me get a knife here. My butter's at room temperature because we used butter at breakfast this morning, so it's pretty soft. And add the butter. And then we want to add in some dry milk powder. Dry milk powder can be found in your baking section. And I'm looking for my spoon. The dry milk powder can be found in your baking section. It usually comes in a big box. So I'm going to add my milk powder to this. And then we're going to add in our flour. Now I'm going to say that since I've switched flours and I haven't bought flour from Costco. If you guys follow me, I buy flour a lot from Costco because I go through it a lot. I haven't been doing as much baking because I've been trying to cut down on carbs, and so all flour is not created equal whenever you are baking. This is something that I have found. So you may need to add a little bit more so that your dough pulls together, and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like as it needs. But it is 4 cups of flour. Now you can use bread flour, and ultimately I think that bread flour probably comes together a lot better, but I'm just using regular all-purpose flour today because that is what I have on hand. I may have to open up a second bag. What I have in here. We'll start with that, and then I'll open up another bag if I need to add more. But I'm just going to put on my dough attachment, and I'm going to turn this on the lowest speed. Do you guys see how the dough formed a perfect ball and that it pulled everything away from the sides of the bowl? That's how you know you have enough flour mixture in there. Sometimes my dough is a little loose and I have to add a little bit more flour so that it pulls together into a ball. Now all I'm going to do is leave my KitchenAid mixer on the lowest speed for 5 minutes and let it knead this ball of dough. My dough is completely done kneading, and you can see it attached itself to my dough hook. And that's how I think is an indication to me that it's perfect, because it means that it's come together. I want to take my dough hook off here. And your dough is slightly sticky, but not where it's entirely sticking to my hands. I can actually work with it, if you can see here. I can still touch it, but it doesn't really necessarily stick to me. And basically, I just like to take it and bend it in like this and crease it in the bottom to make a perfect round, like disc shape, so that when I put it into the bowl, it's perfect. So I'm gonna get some oil, lay my dough here. I'm just using olive oil in the bowl. And the reason why we use olive oil is because we don't want this dough to dry out as it is rising. And see how perfect that is? I just brought it all together with my hands, and then I put it in, and then I flip it and get it good and oiled on all sides. And then I push it down. And I'm just gonna cover this bowl with plastic wrap and a towel and put it in my oven with just the light on, no heat on, just the light. I'm back, and as you can see, my dough has risen and it's doubled in size. And anyhow, we are going to put this in our loaf pan. Now, my loaf pan that you see right here is actually from Paula Deen collection. My mom got me this for Christmas. It is one of the biggest loaf pans that I have, and I use this all the time. Not only is it aesthetically really pretty, but it does the job, and I love it. And it's sort of like that stoneware, so it's pretty awesome. So what I want to do is I want to flour my surface just a little bit, and I'm going to try to move. I think the camera is picking it up. Here we go. I'm going to flour the surface just a little bit because we don't want our dough to stick. I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 350. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this dough out of here. Just like that. Now, you don't want to use too much flour with this, and you don't want to overwork your dough, but I like to flatten it out and get all the air out of it. And then I just want to roll it up so it'll fit into my dough pan, my little bread pan. And I always tuck in the sides and make sure I crimp all of it together, because you want a nice looking loaf of bread when this comes out. So once you get it into a loaf shape, I just pop it right into my pan, just like this, and I kind of take my hands and flatten it out just a smidge. And then I'm going to cover this with a towel. I'm going to put it on top of my oven that's preheating, and this will rise, and as soon as it has risen, you can bake it at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes until it's nice and golden. Okay, now that my bread is risen, I'm going to place it in a 350 degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes. If you want a more crusty bread, you can do an egg wash, which is basically just one egg with a little bit of water, scramble it together, and then just brush it over the top of the bread. But I'm just going to go ahead and place this in the oven, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like when it's done. Okay. Okay, my bread just came out of the oven, and I usually let it sit in the pan for about 5 minutes before I pop it out, but you want to make sure that you let your bread cool completely, or whenever you go to cut the slices, it'll actually squish your bread all the way down, and of course you don't want that. So I hope y'all enjoyed seeing how I make my white bread. Go over and check out the Kneady Homesteader. She has a lot of fantastic bread recipes. You should go and check her out and subscribe to her channel so you don't miss out on anything. I'm definitely a fan. Hope you all enjoyed seeing this video, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so and give this video a thumbs up, and I will be talking to you all again soon. Bye bye.